Hello, I'm really excited to show you Scaffold Stellar today. And we've talked previously on the channel about Scaffold Stellar with Jane and Chad. Jane from Stellar, Chad from Aha Labs, and Chad and FIFO talked about how we made the decision about choosing the front end tooling that we chose. And today I'm really excited to show you Scaffold Stellar uh, today and how you can get started using it. And it's building in the open. It's only going to get better, but you can go ahead and start trying it out today. So the first thing I need to do is I'm going to install Scaffold Stellar. And so I'm going to make some assumptions that you have Rust installed, that you have the Stellar CLI installed, just because this is going to be a quick demo of what we've got so far. And don't worry, there's plenty more to come. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cargo install Stellar Scaffold CLI. So in order to install the Scaffold Stellar tooling to my command line. So I'm going to install it, but I'm not going to bore you with some installation and compilation steps. So it's already installed. And if we check out our Stellar CLI that we know and love, if you need any help getting the Stellar CLI installed, there's plenty of great documentation on the Stellar website for you to do that. But the Scaffold Stellar CLI is installed as a plugin. And so if I look at my Stellar plugins, I see that I already have Stellar installed as well as the Stellar registry. Now, the registry is super cool, and we're going to talk about it in a different video, but today I'm just going to talk about Scaffold Stellar. So it's installed as a plugin, meaning I can use it as a regular subcommand of the Stellar CLI, which is super neat. And so if I run that, I can see the commands that are available. And we're going to use Stellar Scaffold init in order to make us a new Stellar Scaffold project, Scaffold Stellar project. And so I'm going to go into that demo folder that I just made. And I'm going to, and what I'm doing right now is I'm following these quick start instructions that are on the GitHub repo, github/aha lab/scaffold stellar. And so I've installed the Scaffold CLI. I've gone into my project. Now I'm going to copy my env so that I have my env variables set up as I expect them to be, just getting started. And let's go ahead and look at this project and see the file. So this is a ready to go running Web3 app to get you started building on Stellar. It's got lots of things that are useful, but our goal is to kill the boilerplate and make it easy to get out of your way so you can go ahead and get to building some dApps. And so we've got package JSON here. We've got, ESLint, lots of, tooling that's going to be useful as we develop. So I copy my sample, but I'm going to npm install to install my dependencies as well. And so some of the things that we have already baked into the project is you've got Stellar Wallet Kit. You've got a couple example contracts. So we've got a simple hello world, and we also have an OpenZeppelin audited contract for a fungible token interface. And in the future, you'll be able to add other OpenZeppelin projects to your Scaffold Stellar project really easily. You can already go to the OpenZeppelin website, to the OpenZeppelin wizard, and download a Scaffold Stellar project if you make your own, a contract through their wizard. So it's pretty cool. Anyway, so I've installed my dependencies. Now I'm going to npm start, or I can npm run dev. Either of these will work. What they're going to do is it's going to do two things. The first thing is that it's going to run watch, build clients. And so what that does is it's going to look at my environment, at these contracts, and update them as I'm developing them. So I can work in tandem with my local Stellar network in this case, because I'm running in development. And so in our Scaffold Stellar project, we have this environments.toml file. which defines different environments so development, staging, production. These generally map to in practice. It'll usually be local development, testnet, mainnet. And there's lots of comments in here to help you figure out what settings you might want to do and give you some pointers on things you might want. Some key things that I'm going to point out here for this demo is that I'm using the development network. I'm defined a development account and the contracts that I want to exist in my environment, meaning so in this, I want to say, I want Scaffold Stellar to build the TypeScript bindings and create the libraries that make it easy for me to interact with that contract from the front end. And so those will end up in our project. And what's happening over here is Scaffold Stellar watch, or it's Stellar Scaffold watch when you run the command line. It's starting my local network, making sure that it's healthy. Also dependency Docker to run the local Stellar network. And so it's compiling my contracts, it's building my contracts, it's using this network, it's creating my keys, it's saving these keys, it's installing the contract on chain on my local network, it's deploying that contract after it's uploaded, it's generating those libraries, it's installing the dependencies and building those bindings, and that's all there. So that's something that happens because we're doing the watch. And now it's watching for changes. And so we're using Vite and React on the front end. So that was our decision on what to do as far as, what framework should we use for a front end in 2025. We wanted our project to be future proof in terms of, we know that everyone tends to use React, but then Vite is a great tool for getting your environment going. And a lot of meta frameworks wrapped around React use Vite. And so that makes this easy for us to interact with that. So let me open the app. So localhost 5173. All right, then I get connected to my app. Here on the homepage, we've got some starter text that gives you some more information about interacting with this project in a place that's easy to find. You can delete it, of course, as you want. So if I go and, edit this and say, hi, everyone, we have hot reloading, all that stuff that we love. And remember, this is a Scaffold Stellar project. And so this applies to my contracts and my front end. So this is all working together. And so let's connect my wallet. So we've got Stellar Wallet Kit integrated. So I'm going to connect with Frighter. And I get a connection request. I'm going to connect. And then I've actually connected a account that is not funded. And as we know, accounts need to be funded on Stellar in order to exist. And so I can fund that with FriendBot right from the Scaffold Stellar CLI, or from the Scaffold Stellar UI. And then I'll be able to see the balance of that account. So that's right there. And so these components are there to be useful. They're meant to get you started for what you need to build a dApp. You can delete them, use them as much as you want. We've got the Stellar design system framework integrated. So that's where some of these components are coming from. So you can use that as you like and follow the documentation on the Stellar design system. And so I can disconnect my wallet. Oops, nope. I can disconnect my wallet. I can connect my wallet. I can, so that this button over here, this pill is doing is showing me that I'm connected on my local network. That helps because let's say I'm connected on testnet. Oops, and then it says, hey, do you want to connect with testnet? Let's do it. But then I'm in a different environment than my wallet, and my wallet is on one network and my app is running on another network because we want it so that you can compile this app to a static build. So let's change that back to local. And there we go. And so this is just the beginning. If you're interested in Scaffold Stellar and you want to get involved, if you want to help us test and you want to install the latest CLI from Git, for example, you can go to aha lab/Scaffold Stellar. That's the GitHub repo for the project. If you're more in the front end inclined, the front end template is at Stellar Scaffold front end. Scaffold Stellar front end. And we're really excited to keep working on this. There's so much more to come, and I'm so excited to share that with you all in a few weeks. And so thanks so much, and hope to see you at some hackathons and events online. And we really are looking forward to everyone using Scaffold Stellar.